England. Famous 300-year-old, Robin Hood, sycamore gap tree showing positive signs of life after being chopped down by vandals in England in late September. Denmark. Denmark's parliament passed a bill that makes it illegal to burn copies of the Koran in public places, after protests in Muslim nations over the desecration of Islam's holy book raised Danish security concerns. Germany. About 6,700 ducks and geese are to be slaughtered after an outbreak of the highly pathogenic bird flu on a farm in Hamburg, East Germany. Bird flu, which has led to the culling of hundreds of millions birds in the past years, usually strikes in Europe during autumn and winter, often with infection spread by wild birds. Italy. Activists poured mud and chocolate milk on the facade of St. Mark's Basilica in Venice in their latest climate protest. Police quickly detained the 6 activists. There was no immediate word of any permanent damage to the Byzantine Basilica, an iconic symbol of Venice. The European Data Protection Board has announced its binding decision about banning Meta's platforms from processing personal data for behavioral advertising. The decision comes after, starting in early August, Meta-owned platforms faced a temporary 3-month ban on behavioral advertising based on extensive user profiling in Norway. Texas. In a rare challenge to the statewide ban on abortion in Texas, a judge has granted a woman permission to receive access to the procedure as her baby is likely to be stillborn or alive for a week at most. Texas is one of 13 states to ban abortion at nearly all stages of pregnancy. Nevada. Shooting at University of Nevada, Las Vegas leaves 3 dead, 1 critical. Police sources told local news that the suspect was a man in his 60s who recently applied for a job at the university and was denied. Milwaukee. Multiple firefighters suffered burns, 2 of which needed to be hospitalized, after a massive fire tore through a Milwaukee apartment building, displacing about 30 residents. Massachusetts flies 52 sea turtles on private jet to Florida to warm up for the winter. Over 50 of Kemp's Ridley sea turtles were dispersed from the New England Aquarium in Massachusetts after suffering from cold stun. The aquarium's Sea Turtle Hospital took in over 200 turtles that washed ashore in New England waters. Guyana. A military chopper carrying 7 soldiers vanishes over disputed territory with Venezuela. The helicopter disappeared 30 miles from the border, where Venezuela is amassing troops and equipment for a possible invasion. Peru. Alberto Fujimori, Peru's former strongman leader, was freed from jail after a ruling from the country's highest court granted him a humanitarian pardon, despite a request from the Regional Inter-American Court of Human Rights to delay his release. Burkina Faso. The government has adopted a bill revising the constitution and henceforth enshrining national languages as official languages in place of French. Earlier this year, Mali, governed like Burkina by the military and which also maintains terrible relations with France, had modified its constitution by referendum and reserved the same fate for the French language. Seychelles. Following an explosion at an explosives warehouse and a flooding, the Seychelles archipelago declared a state of emergency on Thursday and urged residents to stay in their homes, according to a statement from the presidency. The explosion caused extensive damage in and around the area, the presidency added without further details. The area is the archipelago's largest island, home to 87% of its population of 98,000. China began commercial operations of the world's first next-generation, gas-cooled nuclear reactor power plant. The plant is powered by 2 high-temperature reactors cooled by gas rather than pressurized water, which according to the state news agency makes it more efficient and cost-effective. China's exports in November unexpectedly rose for the first time in half a year, driven by demand for cars and mobile phones, in an upbeat sign for the key manufacturing sector. Malaysia. The government has started trapping and relocating tigers after 3 people were killed by the critically endangered creatures in the past 2 months. 11 cage traps and 20 cameras have been installed in recent weeks where the deadly attacks happened. Melbourne, Australia. The Preston Hotel has been fined $15,000 for taking bets from boy, 16, with nearly $100,000 in gambling debts. Perth. 2 teenagers are in hospital after a student allegedly stabbed the other at a Perth school. Emergency services were called to Karini Senior High School about 10 a.m. on Thursday. A boy and girl, aged 15 and 16, suffered non-life-threatening injuries during the incident, which involved an edged weapon. Australia is to train Papua New Guinea police as 2 nations strike new security deal. Prime Minister James Marape said the historic deal did not mean his country was picking between China and the West at a time of growing rivalry for influence across the Pacific.